What's happening everybody, King GBL here, and welcome back to a brand new Great League video. Today I'm going to be showcasing Defense Form Deoxys in the Open Great League, which after the recent buffs has become a very strong pick. I'm going to get into that in a second and explain to you why you should be running Defense Deoxys. But first of all here, thank you very much to Jai for sending in the battles. I very much appreciate it, and if you guys want to send in battles of your own, a link in the description, join our Discord, or of course there is just a link to the Google form. Just send in the link with a little bit of a brief description, and of course a Google Drive link for the actual video itself, and I will react to your battles, and especially if it's new Pokemon that have just been buffed, I will definitely react to those. So feel free if you want to get some feedback on your gameplay. Not that I can give you amazing feedback, but I will give you some. Or even if you just want to see me react to your gameplay, feel free to send those in. Just a couple of quick things before we get into the video. Thank you for 1,800 subs yesterday. It's very much appreciated, and I'll just keep pumping out content here for you guys to enjoy. And I do very much appreciate all the support in the videos. Of course, if you do want to help out here, hit that like button, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think of Defense Deoxys or the current meta, and how you think things are shaping up. Because Defense Deoxys, I think, is just such a strong underrated pick, and I'm starting to see a lot more of it as well. It's so good because, number one, it beats all the steel types, it beats all the ice types which were all recently buffed, so like things like Walrein, Dugong, all of the new buffed ice types, Defense Deoxys wrecks them. And of course Medicham is super powerful in this current meta because there are so many checks to Noctowl now that you're just seeing way less Noctowl, which at the end of last season, if you had have told me you're barely going to see any Noctowl next season, I wouldn't have believed you, but here we are, and Defense Deoxys is dealing with the Pokemon that is dealing with Noctowl. Now if you're looking to go for the preferred moveset, do not run this Pokemon with Rock Slide, run it with Thunderbolt and Psycho Boost. And if you're going to look to fire off Psycho Boost, normally what you do with this Pokemon is farm up to the back-to-back, because of course it does debuff you, which you will see here in this Venusaur matchup most likely. So let's hop into the battles. Once again, thank you for the battle submission, and let's hop into them. So Venusaur is going straight for a Frenzy Plant. This thing absolutely chunks, so I'm not even surprised Jai is shielding up this first one here, and he's going to farm up to basically 100 energy, and you can do this one of two ways. You can look to fire off 2 Psycho Boosts in a row, which will look to get this thing very low. The second one would maybe not quite take it out. The first one would do about 60%, and we're actually eating probably a Frenzy Plant on this, but it's a Sludge Bomb. I'm not sure why they're going for that. And in comes Berserker. This thing knows Shadow Claw as well, and it's going to go straight for the close combat. Can we actually live a close combat on this thing? We do just about live a close combat. That's kind of surprising, but we're going to go for an Earthquake, and if the opponent shields us up, they're going to get farmed down super quickly, and they decide not to. So in comes Venusaur again. They're going to get a farm down, unfortunately, before we are able to get off another move. And at this point, we're already almost up to the back-to-back. Now, you can definitely eat a Frenzy Plant on this thing. The opponent's going straight Sludge Bomb, which is so weird. Defense Deoxys is going to eat that up, and we're going to go for the back-to-back Psycho Boosts, or at the very least go for one in dip here. Yeah, it looks like we're probably going for the both of them here, and this would definitely look to threaten Venusaur quite a lot. We'll see how much this does. Yeah, so the second one definitely does not do that much. We don't quite get the farm down, unfortunately, which is a little bit sad. But Walrein's going to shield up. And with the boosted Icicle Spear, hopefully we can look to threaten something here. So we're going to see here, we're actually going, I believe one Earthquake does not take out. So maybe going for back-to-back Icicle Spears is correct here. Yeah, so it looks like 2 Icicle Spears will take out Swampert now, which I don't think that was the case before. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but if Sludge Wave, okay, opponent. You're just absolutely fucking obsessed with Sludge Wave. Okay, bro. Sludge Bomb and Sludge Wave. Okay, it doesn't quite take out, but that was, of course, doing less damage last season. The opponent just loves firing off poison moves, it seems. And in comes Gardevoir. What do you even do against this thing? I guess you just pivot out of here into your Steel type, and in comes Swambass. So it's a Water Gun Swambass. Bruh. And we're going for the Rock Slide bait here as well. Let's see what the opponent decides to do. They let it go. They let it go. This is just an absolute shambles right now. It's just, this whole thing is just an absolute shambles. Muddy water! If it's not a muddy water I just seen, what is going on here? We're going for the Earthquake, the opponent lets it go, and probably back in comes Gardevoir. No, it comes in with Sunny Cast Form, which is a funny pick. Walrein's going to come in here and not do that great against it, to be fair, because of course it is a fire type. I'm not sure what moves this thing knows, probably knows Solar Beam or something. I think it does know Solar Beam, if I'm honest. The opponent's going to fire off another Weather Ball. This Pokemon was super underrated, I think, in the Hoenn Cup. This can be quite a good limited meta Pokemon here, but we're going to fire off the EQ. We'll see if the opponent respects it. They might just be saving shields for Gardevoir, but they do not, and we're coming into Defense Deoxys here. In comes Gardevoir, and this thing would just get absolutely one-shot. Jai is correctly going for the Thunderbolt here, as to not debuff himself, and of course it is resisted on the Psychic type. Going for Psycho Boost. Can you get off the move? The opponent does reach what is most likely a Shadow Ball or Dazzling Gleam. It is a Psychic, in fact, which is not very effective. It still takes out. Gardevoir hits like an absolute truck. And can Walrein pull this off? You absolutely one-shot it. The opponent's going to move loaded. And yeah, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to win this one here. That was such a funny match, bro. Muddy Water Swamperts. I can't believe the no-shielded, like, That was crazy. The no shielded the Earthquake. That was actually wild. Hopping into the next battle here, we've got Wacky Biba coming in with Ariados. Again, another bit of a core breaker. Well, not like a super core breaker, of course. You can deal with this Pokemon. But these lunges will definitely add up. And looks like, oh, they're going for cross poison. So that's a pretty good indication that they might be running like a Mega Horn. Or of course, they're a level 1. So it could just be a single move Ariados here. We look to catch another cross poison or lunge on Stunfisk. It is a cross poison. The opponent's not getting a boost and they're dipping out of here. So in comes Lapras, which is of course not a boosted, or sorry, buffed Pokemon this season, but still quite a strong pick, of course. Rock Slide number 1 coming through, and it looks like we're going to get off Rock Slide number 2. One Surf will not threaten our health too much here. Ice Beam coming through, Legacy Ice Beam on the Lapras, that's quite an interesting one. Are they running Ice Beam and Skull Bash perhaps? Definitely an interesting moveset. They should be just going straight for Surf. The low battery's coming in here, but that's not going to stop Jai from taking out this Lapras. And we'll see what the opponent wants to come back in with. You guys can let me know, man. Have you guys lost a game to the low battery? In comes the Azumarill. This looks kind of awkward. I think this is a positive matchup for Deoxys though. Because of course you can go for Thunderbolt, but the counters are resisted and any sort of chip you can get on this thing is valuable. So we're just going to have a look at the moveset here, I suppose. This is really a big tell, like, are they going to go for Play Rough? Okay, so they have Play Rough, so it's most likely Play Rough, and I don't know, it could be Hydro Pump, it really just depends. Jai is going to shield this one up here. I do think this is a positive match for Deoxys, but we're going for an AQ here, which would look to get it quite low, and then maybe look to aggro swap into DD. Okay, we're just staying in here, most likely to eat the energy. Yep, we can get off another Icicle Spear, which I think will take it out at this range, even though Azumarill is quite bulky. Yep, you know, that might have not taken out last season because of the less damage on the Icicle Spear. So in comes the Ariados. We're going to go for here an Earthquake. I guess, you know, it would be neutral damage, but I think like Icicle Spear at that range is probably enough to threaten it. Cross Poison coming through. Unfortunately, we do shield it here, and we're going for the Psycho Boost. So we cannot recover from this Psycho Boost, but we do, of course, one-shot the Ariados, and that's going to be a good game. So, nice one. We're going to hop into the next one. It is Noctowl. Again, Defense Deoxys does quite well against this, but we have just a couple of answers to this. The opponent's looking to go for a catch, but unsuccessfully so, and if you're going to catch a Rock Slide, you're not going to catch it on Frostlass. I'm predicting there to be maybe a Swampert in the back here, or some sort of a Mudboy. This kind of looks like a variation of a team that I would use, which would normally have a Mudboy in the lead, with Noctowl and Frostlass in the back, or it could be Frostlass and another Ice type in the back, which I think would make sense. But trying to catch a move on Frostlass is kind of wild. I think the opponent, do they overfarm right there? I think they could have been at an Avalanche, potentially. Or maybe I'm just not paying enough attention. In comes Lanturn here. You could even, oh nice, we're going for a little bit of a catch here on the Surf. You'd love to see that. We're looking to be in a super good position here now. Looking to go for Thunderbolts on this thing. And Defense Deoxys is just so bulky, like it just eats moves for breakfast, doesn't care. Imagine if you could trade this Pokemon. This is an untradeable Pokemon. So you are sort of stuck with Raid IVs on this one. If this thing was able to be traded, it would be crazy. So it looks like we'll need one more Thunderbolt to take this out, or most likely go for a Psycho Boost. Yeah, I think we can just let this go at this point, and look to maybe clean up with the Stunfisk here, maybe get off a Rock Slide or something. At this point, we will look to sweep with Walrein, which of course, like I said, it has got the buff. I don't think it's a huge difference. It might be like just ever so slightly better in certain scenarios, where like, for example, that Swampert, you're able to almost two-shot it, or you would not be able to one-shot it with the Earthquake. I think things like that is where this Walrein will be a little bit better. I'm not sure if Jai is counting here. I'm not. Okay, so Jai is obviously counting, and it's just a Surf here. Of course, Jai is counting. Jai hit Legend for the first time last season, and he actually CMPs the opponent, so he's definitely counting. I'm not. I'm just reacting to this here, but in comes Noctowl again, and I think the best play the opponent could make here is probably looking for that button on the top left, tapping it once, and hitting yes, and then going into the next one here, because up 2 shields, this thing is going to absolutely wreck Noctowl. Yep, Icicle Spear number 1 coming through, does so much damage. Are we going to go for a CMP tie? I think Jai's trolling them here and maybe looking to go for a CMP or something. Let's see what he decides to do here. Is he going for the... He's going for the Earthquake! Ladies and gents, Earthquake coming through. And it absolutely wrecks the Noctowl. You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. Jai just sending that Noctowl back into its nest. This thing's laying eggs and just lying in an absolute heap. Earthquake is a Noctowl counter confirmed. Deoxys coming into Trevenant. This is a pretty bad lead. It's a pretty terrible lead, to be fair. And actually, now Walrein is good against this thing. We draw out the Medicham, which is great. So Trevenant, Medicham, is it just Noctowl in the back? It would sort of make sense for it just to be Noctowl or Lanturn. So we'll see what the opponent does end up doing here. Yeah, so they're going to probably go for an Ice Punch here. I think you might be able to get off another EQ. Ice Punch coming through. Yeah, the opponent realizes it and goes for the back-to-back. So I feel like this is going to be a little bit of a sweatier match. We'll see how this goes. We're going to come back in with DD here. And if you can get like a nasty, and I mean nasty farm down on this thing, you can look to threaten the Trevenant with multiple Psycho Boosts. But I would think most likely with this thing out of the way, you will look to probably just insta-swap into Walrein. Yeah, we're committing to the full farm down. We're probably going to insta-swap here. We'll see what we decide to do. Yeah, we're going for a Psycho Boost. I don't mind this at all. This will chip it into like 50% health. Yep, nice. And then you come in and look to sweep with Walrein. I am predicting a Noctowl in the back. The opponent's going for a Seed Bomb. You just respect these. And now, like I said, you outpace this thing, which is beautiful. It is a Lanturn, of course. And are we going to go for the bait? We're going straight for the EQ. We are not baiting here. I think we do get to 2 EQs here anyway. Yep, so that's a pretty safe one, and to be fair, it's pretty safe for the Lanturn to let it go, because it is quite difficult to farm down. Is Jai going to call a bait? No, he does not, and correctly, he shields up a Thunderbolt here. I think we might be looking to sweep with Deoxys, up energy. We go for a CMP tie here, which is beautiful. Jai is really good with his counts and good at CMPing. Of course, hitting Legend for the first time last season. The opponent is shielded up, which is sort of understandable, but I think maybe they could have 2-shielded the Trevenant. But of course, Jai did have another Icicle Spear loaded, so it's like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. We're going to go for back-to-back Psycho Boosts. And the Trevenant did throw off their Seed Bomb, so they should be pretty dry here. We're going for an extra counter, just to try and get as much damage through before we debuff ourselves the second time. And that just about doesn't take them out, but one more counter is going to do it. And, you know, it is kind of nice seeing Trevenant in this meta. I still think it is good, but that one, like those 2 turns difference is a big difference. I think this is a pretty bad match, but you can maybe look to catch a Shadow Ball here. So yeah, they're getting to this pretty quickly. I think you can live a Shadow Ball on this, but it's probably not that comfortable. What are we going to do here? This seems to be a bit of a core breaker for this team, because of course, I mean, Walrein does fine-ish against it. The opponent shields up the Thunderbolt too. Yeah, we're looking to go for a catch. We'll see if the opponent was baiting or anything here, but this is probably the Shadow Ball, which does about 50%. The opponent is staying in here, and I've seen this matchup in the Ultra League so many times. This Earthquake, it probably does more in Great League, but it does maybe over 50% to them. Yeah, so around like just over 50%. It is pretty similar in the Great League. I think at this point we can look to let this go, and the opponent's not baiting here, which is great. We can look to farm up. Can we actually farm this thing the whole way down? I think we're forced to go for a Psycho Boost, unfortunately. You do not want to eat a Shadow Ball on this thing necessarily. The opponent got a shielded there and made it really awkward, and yeah, Jai just wants to switch clog immediately here, and these counters are doing way less than they would have been doing, and the opponent's going to fire off a Fell Play. I learned a funny fact yesterday, I think, with what is the other move? Dark Pulse? Dark Pulse beats Stunfisk in the Zero Shield scenario, but they're going straight Foul Play and they are ahead in energy, so I think they will be able to take this in the zeros. In comes Whimsicott and they catch an Earthquake, so unfortunate. The opponent's playing very well here, and we're going to have to go for another Rock Slide on this thing. Can Deoxys still sweep this? The opponents get to move so quickly on this thing. I think it's 6 for the Grass Knot and then 5. And it's normally 7 for the Main Blast, and then I think 6 on the second one. We're going to go for the Snipe on the Psycho Boost, storing all of that energy. Let's see if we can actually turn this around. The opponent lets it go, and back in comes Umbreon, so you're in a very familiar position here, where you're stuck with a debuff Deoxys against the Umbreon. You maybe could have considered going for the Thunderbolt, but I understand why you would go for the Psycho Boost. Yeah, this Foul Play will look to take out, and this might come down to a bait right here. Yeah, the opponent's already got to another Foul Play. This is going to be very, very close. One Earthquake would almost take this thing out. We're going for the Rock Slide bait. Absolutely respect this. You have to try and go for it. The opponents, they do not call it. Can you reach the Earthquake just in time? You just about do, and will this take out the Umbreon? That is the question. This is going to be pretty close. Yes, it does, ladies and gents. We got the lag. It does take out the Umbreon. Good games, and very nicely played there. Very, very close in the end, but definitely a bit of a tough one for you to deal with. So Deoxys, you know, I'm not sure if we're actually seeing the full power of it right now, but definitely against those like Sandslash leads and the Steel types, this thing is going crazy, and you're seeing it just holds its own super well, which I is just getting wrecked with these leads here, unfortunately. This Galvantula, bit of an awkward one. The unfortunate thing about catching this on Stunfisk is you're catching it on your only real answer to it, which is a little bit unfortunate. So I wonder, like, what is the best way to go about this? In comes a Melmetal, and ladies and gents, this thing can get to the superpower, but they do not appreciate this. I think they're going to go straight superpower. I would probably shield this and farm down if it was me, because this is your best answer to Galvantula. So shield it, farm it the whole way down, and come out with multiple Rock Slides, looking to put you in a really good position. The opponent comes in with Galvantula. That is so weird. Surely they have some better answer to a Steel type than an Electric Bug type. It's a very, very odd one here. Yeah, in comes Rock Slide number 1, in comes Rock Slide number 2, on good timing as well. This will look to threaten to knock it out. I think it just about won't from this range, but actually, in fact, it is a Shadow. Jai can comfortably let this move go and look to go for another Rock Slide. We'll see if the opponent does go for the catch. We're triple debuffed. I'm not sure if this will even take it out at this point. We're just so debuffed by these lunges that they're... okay, we still do take it out, which is nice. And back in comes Dragonite. We're going to go straight for the Thunderbolt on this thing, which of course is neutral damage, and that looks to just absolutely wreck this thing. I think the opponent sees the writing on the wall. One Psycho Boost will look to take it out, and that's another very good game well played. So hopping into the next match here, we have what I would think is a positive, or maybe like neutralish lead. It is Lanturn here, of course, which you don't really want to see in your backline, especially Walrein. So I think we're happy enough just to stay in here, and actually look to catch. Is this a Thunderbolt? Hopefully, oh, we've got low battery again. Hopefully it's not the bait. The opponent's going for a Thunder. The opponent's going for a Thunder, ladies and gents. They're going to go for a Surf here, but we can actually just let this go at this point, or shield it up. Doesn't really matter here. We can live one Surf, no problem. The opponent is staying in here, so maybe they're just core broken by Galarian Stunfisk. So we'll see what the opponent wants to do. I do feel like they might shield this one. The opponent does invest the shield, and I think we're going to shield back here and look to take out this Lanturn. This Lanturn is a little bit awkward for the backline, so getting rid of this thing would be great. I think if the opponent does shield this one, Jai might decide to come back in with Deoxys and farm down, but we'll have to see. The opponent does let it go. They do want to go down both shields, and in comes the Stunfisk of their own. We're going to outpace to the Earthquake here, and the opponent does not go for the Rock Slide. So I think the opponent's best play here is probably to shield this up and look to farm down this Stunfisk, which does seem to be what they're looking to do, but they actually throw the Rock Slide at the very last second here, and this was definitely not the correct play, because this means you can come in with Deoxys and very, very comfortably look to maybe go for a Thunderbolt and farm down. I think this is just another Rock Slide, maybe. We'll have a look here. It is just another Rock Slide. We get a Simul swap out, and in comes Altaria. Altaria with the boosted Icicle Spear is not going to have a good time. We're going to go for the Overfarm here, of course, to look to threaten the Stunfisk. Even if you can get an Icicle Spear into the Stunfisk, that'll be good. We're going for the Earthquake on the Altaria. We're going for the Earthquake on the Altaria, folks. We just about don't take it out. And we're going to go for an Icicle Spear on this. Defense Deoxys can easily live an Earthquake, so we're at no danger here. And this is going to be a good game unless the opponent does an Earthquake take it out. That is the question. Okay, they win CMP. We have a shield. We're no shielding it. Jai just doesn't care. They're going for the Rock Slide bait, ladies and gents. And we're going to go for the Thunderbolt to take it out. Some really fun and entertaining battles here by Jai. I really very much enjoyed these here. Thank you very much to Jai for sending these in. Once again, guys, if you do want to send in your own battles, link in the description down below. If you enjoyed today's video, man, hit that like button, subscribe, and actually, do we have one more battle here? I think we actually do still have one more battle here, so we'll hop into this final one, but thank you very much, everybody, and let's see what Jai decides to do in this next one. These are some hilarious battles, and we'll see what we get. It's Deoxys versus Deoxys. This is definitely a bit of an awkward one, and you do sort of have to stay in here, of course, counter being super effective against your backline. This is like, for me, with these types of teams, I'm running a similar team with Medicham currently. Seeing a mirror match is just so awkward, you hate to see it. We're going for the Thunderbolt here, which will look to chip it down. The opponent's shielding, and that's even worse. Whenever the opponent starts shielding, that's what makes it really awkward. We do go for a catch here on the Thunderbolt, so I do quite like this. Like, Deoxys, as you've seen in the reverse matchup last game, can't really just stay in here and farm it down. It's just very awkward for it. And now that we've got it into like the 50% health range, this Earthquake will look to almost take it out. And yeah, we can just eat Thunderbolts all day on this thing. This is where Medicham is better. And, you know, I think I prefer Medicham over Deoxys personally, because it suits my playstyle a little bit better. I prefer more sort of stronger, harder hitting Pokemon. But in comes Sandslash, and we're going to go for the Rock Slide bait here. The opponent has to respect this. And yeah, oh, they let it go. What a call by the opponent. That's absolutely insane. And I think you could even shield this here and force the final shield off the opponent, or look to farm it down. Yeah, Ice Punch coming through. And this is exactly why Deoxys is here in this team. We have so many Sandslashes, so many Dugongs, and this thing just likes to hit everything, so it's a very, very strong pick right now. In comes Registeel, and this is not completely over yet. The opponent, of course, can fire off a Focus Blast or Zap Cannon, which would do very well against the Walrein. You really kind of need to get the opponent's final shield here, and if you do, you can look to maybe swap out and outpace to one Earthquake. The opponent lets it go, and are you even going to shield this? I would actually shield this up. I don't think the opponent can lock on down, but I think either way works out perfectly here. I think actually just letting this go is a little bit safer, because you can come in with Walrein, you can just outpace to these Icicle Spears. You'll definitely get off tier 3 Icicle Spears before they get off 2 Focus Blasts, and that's a good game. Thank you very much, Jai, for the battles, bro. Very much appreciated. Like I said, guys, feel free to send your own in, hit that like button, subscribe, and have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow for a brand new video.